Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can proceed, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, let me just bring back the annotation over here. Okay, so we stopped over here at the last. So is there anybody that knows now? When we have a no, let me just go a little bit down.
So,
Yes,
so don't we end the while
yes,
decision and then we move to line 6?
yes, that is correct. Thank you, Dino. So over here, once you have a no now, so we are no longer going to 4, 5. What line are we going to? Seth, you just mute your mic.
Yes, sir.
So what line do we go to?
Line 6, sir.
Yes, so we go to line 6. So in line 6, what is the thing that we have to do? Let me just bring back my lines. They disappeared. 1, 2, 3. So what does line 6 want?
Output,
Which
the
is,
output, sir.
yeah, so which
We
is?
should X the last X.
Okay.
Portion, which will be 22, sir.
So the last output is our X, which is this, sorry about that, that 22. And then that is what
Yes,
we
sir.
put in the output over there. So that is 100% correct. All right. So we had our X, our Y, our deck, and our output. So I want to quickly show you. I'm gonna remove the colors over here because I want to show you. Okay, so I removed that because I want to draw in a few examples before we go to Thonny, just so that we can understand the trace table a little bit better. Okay, I've made it a little bit smaller so that we are able to see. Okay, so let's just go through this again. So we have number 1, we have 2, and then when we start at 3, okay, this is where the loop starts. Okay, so the loop starts here. I'm gonna call it a loop. Okay, loop means we are doing something over and over again. Okay, I'm trying my best to write with a mouse. Okay, so the loop starts. So the loop, what we are doing in the loop is 4 and 5. Okay, then in order for us to end the loop, we must go back to the loop because the condition for the loop is inside the loop. There's no other condition that we have. The conditions that we need to check is this one. That is our condition. Okay, is X smaller than or equal to Y. All right, that is our condition. So you always have to go and check your condition. Did you get to your condition? Did you get to your condition? Is your condition, has it changed? If it hasn't changed, we do the same things over and over again. Okay, until the condition changed, then we can come out of the loop. Okay, so this is now where the loop starts. You will see the 3 connects to that 3. Okay, so it's like we are doing that 3 again over again. So here's another 3 which goes back to that 3. We check. Here's another 3. We go back to that 3. We check. Here's another 3. We go check. So it's like we are checking. Okay, it was yes, it was yes, it was yes. So every time we do that 3, we check until here. When we check, then we go out of the loop because it's now no longer the same. Because when we check those 22, 23, and so forth. All right. So now we are out of that loop. So I'm sorry about that. We had a crying boy in the background, so I just had to wait for him to be quiet. Otherwise, it would have been very noisy on your side. Okay. All right, let's proceed. I think you understand so far. Am I clear, or is there any question so far up until this point?
So we understand.
Okay, I want to explain now something very important that we do not do normally. Now, let me say Mr. Kwa did this in the class with you guys like we are doing now. In the examination, right? I can do the following. Now, this is now where you must now pay attention, okay? I give you the, let me clear quickly the drawings, okay? I'll give you the same algorithm over here. Let me just take that one out. The only thing I change in the algorithm is instead of asking you for an X here, I ask you for a Y. So what will be the answer then?
21, sir.
21. That was fast. So that is the only thing I can change. So you can see how we can play around with the questions, right? So I ask you for a Y, and then you must now know you still do the same trace table. And then you just check at the end, okay, if you want a Y, so our Y must be in our output column, and that will be 21. All right. Now we go to Thonny because somebody asked me what is Thonny. So this is Thonny over on this side. I'm just gonna move this clear again. The mouse. I'm just gonna move this over to this side so you can see the Thonny. And I'm also gonna move this over a little bit to that side there.
Also, it's this thing.
Yes, that is Thonny.
No, I understand. On the Google Classroom, it was Pythonny.
No, Python.
Python, yeah.
Yeah, this is Python.
Oh,
Look here. Here it
confused.
says Python.
Yeah.
But here it says Thonny on top. Okay. So we are coding in Python, but the application is called Thonny. Thonny is nice because it has most the help teacher, the assistant over on this side that tells us everything is fine. Okay. Now, can we do the same thing like we did before? Is there somebody that can run us through the code for the while loop? If there's somebody that can do the while loop for us, like help me with the code. I want to code this thing. So please give us answers how to code it, and then we may proceed. Can you ask Junior? Save your... I think there's a problem with your mic. Microphone or internet connection. Junior, can you give us a solution? Or is it Junior's mic that is not working? Is there anybody else? Ellen? Okay, some of your guys, your microphones are not very nice. We have a lot of interference there. I'm looking for somebody else.
Sir, can I try?
Yes, please try. Okay, Junior, I'm gonna mute you.
Equals to 10.
Okay, so first we will write x equals to 10. That is the same as line 1. Let me just bring my lines back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6. Okay. X equals to 10. What's next?
Line 2. Y equals to 15.
Y equals to 15.
Line 3.
Yes.
X is smaller than equals Y.
So we will write the Y in small letters. Ne? You will notice that when we use a command, this command or function words, the color changes normally. Okay. So while in small letters, and we say while x is less than equals to. So you remember now, I just put less than equals to like this, the same as what is in the code, to y. What else?
In the next line,
No, we're not finished.
x equals to the colon.
Yes, you must put the colon, otherwise it will not work. Okay. So once you put the colon, you see it automatically made that space. It make that space for us. See, the space is automatically made. If you did not put the colon, it will not make that space. Okay, so that space is important. It means we are inside the while now. Also, that space is also here. Let me use another color for that. You will see there's also a space here and there's a space there. Okay, so we already have that space inside. Please proceed.
X equals to x plus 2.
Okay. Not y.
So it's not x, not y.
Yeah, proceed.
In the next line, y equals y plus 1.
All right.
In the next line, comment hashtag and while.
Sorry, I just want to show that the space is still there. And then you said in the next line.
For comment hashtag and while.
Hashtag. Okay.
Sir, we don't have to tab.
You don't want to tab here, so I must go backspace here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the next line, print brackets x.
And that is 100% correct. Okay, so this is how we write the code. From here, we will just click the run button. It will ask us to save. We will save this as example 13. Okay, and I will save it. And you see our answer for X. Let me just clear the shell. Let me run it again. You see the answer here is 22. If you look at our spreadsheet, the answer is also 22. And we also got a 22 here. So the trace table always makes you get the correct answer, and your spreadsheet or your Thonny also gets you the correct answer. I just want to show you, it's not necessary to have the hashtag and while if you say, but the lines are missing, right? So if I take the hashtag away and I put it there and I run it again, I still just get a 22, okay? It's the same thing, all right? So the hashtag is just a comment, because in Python, we don't need to put ends there. The tabs and those things tell us when we are ending and when we are not ending, all right? But for this case, for us, when we are learning, we just put it there. It's also good to learn about comments, all right? So sometimes we want a comment. If I ask you to explain what is happening here, then you can put in a comment, hashtag starting the loop, okay? So that means now starting the loop is taking place here. If I want a extra comment on top here, I will say hashtag so I can say initialize variables, and then I can say hashtag starting the loop and so forth, okay? So that is basically, let me just create a drawings. That is basically how we are doing it. We can put hashtags there. If I run this, it will still just produce 22. It's not affecting the code, okay? The hashtag means it's just a comment. I hope that that makes sense, right? So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Christofina, that was fine. I'm just saving this because I need to remember. Let me just stop it quickly. I need to remember we save this. Okay. Okay, it's having too many things because I didn't save that one. All right. So this is fine. Let us proceed to the next one. So again, I will explain. You don't need hashtags here because for your project and for the task on Google Classroom, we won't need hashtags. So try to avoid any hashtags, but if it's there, I will mark it myself, all right? So you will copy this code again for your project. And once it's done, then in the question where it says code, you will go and paste. So it's now in the editing view. When it says questions, you will go and paste the code as it is there. You will see it will also put spaces where you made spaces. If you just copy and paste, that is the code. And then the output will be what the output is when we run the code. Let me just move this a little bit away. Okay, that's the output. It's 22. So that will be the output that I will put here. So one will be the output. That's the output from the shell. The other one will be the code, and that's the code you need to put in there. Okay. So I hope I've now destroyed explaining the project, not the project, the topic task to you. Let me now just continue to explain the code.
Sir, Dismas has a question.
Yeah, okay, this must ask away.
Sir, you see in Python. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
No, in Python, so why do we leave space between the letters, equal signs, and numbers?
Okay, so why do we leave space here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's just for readability, to make it easier for you to read. If I was coding, I would just like, you can also take away the spaces. It doesn't really matter, but it's difficult if, for example, let's say, I'm now taking away the spaces because this is what it asked me. Now let's say somewhere, somehow I made a mistake, right? You see, I put there Y1, right? And because everything is together, it's sometimes difficult to see where did you make an error. If you are trying to say, okay, if we run this, it would make an error, and then you try to follow now, hey, where was the error? And then everything is together, it becomes not very clear where the error was. So with spaces, it becomes easier to read and also to just looks nicer, okay, instead of sloppy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, if you want to re-answer the task things, I think you can try it later on, but let's finish the lesson. We have one question left. I think then we will conclude this session. Then I will just explain on the do while and other loops that we have there as well. All right, so as usual, we will start with a spreadsheet. And for spreadsheet, we will make a new worksheet tab. Worksheet 1, worksheet 2, new worksheet tab. That's what I created. All right. As usual, I will number my algorithm segment over here. This end and this end, those are just hashtags, so I'll just hash them out. And this will be my number 5. Now, is there any takers for this one to do the trace table for us? Who's KK? Is there anybody to do it for us? Precious, Kevin, Galaxy A02. I don't know who's Galaxy A02. Who else is there? David. Or Zoe wants to try.
Which one?
This one over here.
Yeah, two.
Come again?
Yeah, two.
I cannot hear what you're saying.
Sir, can I try?
Okay. I'm looking for something that I misplaced somewhere. Just give me a
Sir.
second. Yes.
In that code, is begin a variable or it's supposed to be a function in Thonny?
Begin is just the same as start. You see, here is begin. Here is begin.
The one in the codes,
Come again?
not that one. The one on line 1 and 2. Is it supposed to be a variable or a function?
Or this to begin. That just tells us we are going to
Yes.
start this 4. So normal cases for us, this to begin
Okay.
is just. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Can I try?
Yes. Sorry, we are doing spreadsheet first, no?
Num equals
We are doing spreadsheet, not the Thonny. We are first doing the trace table, Christofina.
okay. Number
Just give me a moment. Yes. This is the thing I'm looking for. Okay. So we have number,
and then num.
we have num,
Then 2 decisions.
we explained last time for the for loops, we don't have decisions.
So don't
Yes.
you put X,
We have
X,
X and then Y.
and then a Y?
Yes, we put the X and the Y. So this would have been, just for Christofina, this would have been your decision 1, this would have been your decision 2. But we are just putting X and Y. So there's somebody
Yes, sir.
having sound in the background. Is it you, Christofina? Christofina, you have sound in the background. I don't know if it's a TV or something that's playing. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
So the last one is output.
Is that all? Okay,
Yes.
that is correct. So this will be our trace table that we will be using. I'm just putting a table boxes in to help us understand a little bit better. Okay, I just want to move it a little bit, but it doesn't want to move. Let's close the A. Right. Right, Christofina, you can proceed. Or if there anybody else.
So for number 1, line 1, we are
Oh,
going
we-
to say 6.
Are we with Christofina? Yeah, okay. Line 1 for num 6.
And then for X, we're going to say 1. Wait. So is 3.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you.
So is it 3?
We are where now? We did line 1, 6. That's correct. What's coming after line 1? We are at line 2. Okay. So at line 2, what must we do? Okay, you're cutting out your microphone again. Anybody else to assist? This was yesterday's example.
Sir, can I try?
Yes, just try. Let's finish this.
So, sir, and line 2 and the
Yes.
X is a 3.
No, it's a 1.
So 1.
Yes, so whenever you hear 4, this means count. And then it will tell you how to count. That is your how. So you're counting from 1 to 3. Okay, so the first count, when we are counting, we start with number 1. All right, that is for line number 2. Okay, so if we are at line number 2, 1, it's done. Then we go to line number 3. Okay.
Line number 3 under num.
Under?
Num.
No, line number 3 is this line here.
So just explain.
Okay, I will explain and then I'll do it very fast and then I will post the video and then you can watch the video again. Okay, I have 10 minutes to explain this, so I'm explaining it very fast. So under line number 3, there's a Y. So under Y, we are counting down from 10 to 8. So I will put under Y a 10. Okay, then in line number 4, I have to do this because we are counting, we are forced to do it. Okay, so it says num equals num plus 2. So that will be equals to 6 plus 2. That's my num. Then I have done 10 in this one, but I'm not done. I have to now loop. Let me just quickly draw my 2 loops quickly. So the first loop is this one here, and then I have a second loop, which is that one there. All right. So now I have to go back to number 3 because I did not finish my counting. So the next count will be 9 because I'm going 10 down to 8. Then I'll go to 4. Then it will be 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2. Then I will go back to 3. That will be 8. Okay, so 10 plus 2, that is what we will do. That is 12. So I've done 10, 9, 8. That is the first loop. I'm done. So I will go back now to out of the loop. Then I'm in this loop again. So that is now this one. So I have to do it again. So that is number 2. So at number, I have to go at number 2. So number 2, my X must go up. So I have now a 2. So if I am at number 2, I have to go to number 3. So number 3, you start again at 10. After you are at 10, you go to number 4. At number 4, we do again. So the number will be now 12 plus 2 equals to 12 plus 2, right? Then I do again 3. So I already know now I will have to do this 3, 4 like this. You start at 3, go to 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. I have to do it 3 times, right? So this 3, 4, I have to do it 3 times. Okay, so I already labeled them inside because I know I have to do it 3 times. All right, so the first one is done. That's the first line. Now I go to the second line. We have to go to 9. Then I go to 4. It will be equals to 14 plus 2. Then I go back to 8. Then I go back to 4, which will be 16 plus 2. So equals to 16 plus 2. All right, and that's 18. So I do it 3 times. All of this is in the loop of Y. Okay. So that's why my y is the only one that is changing now. Once the y is done, then I have to go back out of the loop, but I'm going back to check at my x value. Did I finish the x? So x is 1, 2, so I need one more for x. So after I get that one more for x, then it means, I'll just center this one. So in x now, x is 3. So I have to do again 3. I have to go to 3, not that one. I have to go to 3. And if I go to 3, I have to go to 4. So if I do this, I know I'll have to go 3, 4, 3, and 4 again, because the 3 is where, and the 4 is where the bigger loop is. So we have a loop inside a loop, and then I think finally we'll have 5. So over here, we went back to the x loop. This one is the x, okay? This one is the y. So x had 3 counts, y had 10, 9, 8, okay? So in the 3, I will again have a 10. In my other 3, I must have a 9. In my other 3, I must have an 8. Okay, I'm now just trying to speed through this because time is a bit up. So then all we do is the 4 is the one that we are adding. So it will be equals to 18 plus 2. The other 4 will be 20, equals to 20 plus 2. And the other 4 will be equals to 22 plus 2. And then we are out of the loop. Okay, once we are out of the loop, we are also out of the other one. It's already 3. So I have 1 to 3, and I have 10 to 8 for all of them. Okay, and then finally we give our output, which is 24. All right, so that's basically what we had to do. So I'll explain again. So over here you have x. Let me just make my d an x and this a y. So you have one loop. This is a loop 1. This is a loop 2. Okay. So for x, we are counting 1, but inside x, we have this loop 2, which is 10, 9, 8. Okay, and at loop y, we have to do something to the numbers. That is what we are doing, all right? And then that is what we are doing here. Then after we finish the first loop for number 1, we have to go to number 2. Then we follow the same process again. So the x is looping here. This is the x loop, all right? And the y is looping, the y is now looping with the 3s here, okay? This is the y loops that we are having. Those 3s are the y loops. So we have a loop, and then inside that loop, we have another loop. So that is how it goes, all right? From here, I will now go to Thonny and then just code this in Thonny as well. Then we will call it a day. And I think the only thing will be left for you guys to do is to practice and go through the videos again. So I'll give num equals to 6, and then I'll have 4 x in range. And we've explained this the last time that if we want the range 1 to 3, we must make it 1, 4. If you are not sure about the range, okay, just go back to your code and then you check here the range. Okay, instead of a colon here, it must be a comma. So I just have to put a comma there. That is always good to always check with that sheet. Okay, so once that is done, let me just go back to the question. We have to put a colon over there so that we can go into the loop, and then inside that loop, I'll have for y in range. Okay, now when we are going down, all right, because there in the code it says 10 down to 8. I just want to go here. So here you will see it gives you an example of how the down goes. It says range, and then you say 10 to what, and then our step is there, all right? So if we go 20, all right, 5 minus 1. So we have to try and rearrange something like that inside there. So we know we are starting with 10, okay? So this one is also starting with 20, and it's minusing 5, okay? And this one is minusing 5 times, but here we are saying 20 to 5. So we want to go 10 and we want to go to 8. And we are separating them by -1. So I'm deducting -1. That is my steps. Take away 1 every time from the range. So it will be 10 minus 1, then 9 minus 1, then 8, like that. So I just need to confirm. We will do a dry run to see if we can go through this step by step as well. After that, all we need to do is we say num. Let me just step back, reduce this a little bit, small at the end. Num will therefore equals to num plus 2. And that will be the end of everything. Output. Not output, but print. And here we print num. That's it. So this is that code. Let me just run and save it and see if we can produce an answer from that. If there's any changes that we need to do, we will do them. So this is number 14. Okay, so now it says it's 18. Okay, so the answer here is 18, but in our trace table, we got, what did we get? 24, right? So there is a slight problem somewhere in the code. So it has to be in here. If you want to check, okay, what is the problem? We just quickly pause, stop it, and we run the debugger. So when we run the debugger, it says F7 to step through. So I